The time is finally here for Christmas DIYs, and I am so excited because I was looking on the Pottery Barn website yesterday and I found so many beautiful Christmas ornaments that I thought we could try to recreate together on a budget. So I went to the dollar store and I went to Michael's and I got a couple supplies, but mostly I'm going to be using things from my existing craft cupboard. One thing that kept coming up on the Pottery Barn website were these Mercury glass Christmas ornaments, and I thought the effect looked so cool, and I really want to try to recreate it. Now, every tutorial I've seen online has used mirror spray paint or looking glass spray paint, and when I was out this morning, a can of the mirror spray paint was $35, which is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna see if I can make the same effect using cheaper supplies, because as cool as it is, I don't think I want to spend that much money on one can of spray paint that I'm probably not gonna use again. So instead I got some acrylic paint, some regular metallic spray paint that can be used for a variety of things, and we'll see if we can somewhat recreate this look on a budget. I have a bunch of these clear plastic Christmas ornaments from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna be using a bunch of these to recreate some of the fancy Pottery Barn Christmas ornaments. For my Mercury glass ornaments, I have this spray bottle, and I did a 50-50 ratio of vinegar and water. Then I got this spray paint. This is the Rust-Oleum Specialty Metallic Bright Reflective Finish. It's not the official mirrored effect one, but I thought it looked kind of mirror-ish, and it was cheaper than the other ones, so I thought I would give it a try. Now, I don't want to be spray painting inside, so we're going to go outside for the next part. Okay, I have my ornament and my spray bottle. I'm going to do a couple squirts inside the ornament. Swirl it around a little bit. Then I have a piece of cardboard here and my spray paint. I'm just gonna do a couple sprays and then swirl it around. Then apparently you're supposed to take a hairdryer and blow the air in here. It kind of is looking cool on that side. You can see how the vinegar droplets made a little effect on there. This side I don't have as much spray paint. It's really hard to angle the spray paint exactly where you want it to go. I'm gonna try to do more on this side. And then I'm gonna put the top of the ornament back on, so it's easier to swirl it around. I don't know if I want to shake it or just roll it. This is an experiment for me. Oh, that looks cool. I don't know if shaking is doing anything, but that looks really cool. It's giving it a really cool speckled look. I'm gonna let this dry and move on to the next one. I wanna try a few different techniques for this Mercury glass look. For the next one, I'm gonna start with the same process using my vinegar and water mixture and doing a few sprays inside, whirling it around. Then taking my metallic spray paint and doing a couple of sprays, then swirling that around a little bit. Do a little bit more on this side. Then take my hairdryer. This one I'm not putting as much spray paint. You can see I left some of the spaces blank. That's just so I can try out a few different looks, and then we'll see what we end up liking the best. I'm gonna do a few more ornaments with the vinegar solution and the spray paint, and then I'll come back and we'll try to add a few different colors. My first one seems pretty dry, so I'm gonna do another layer of the vinegar. A couple squirts. And then another layer of the spray paint. I feel like doing the other layer of the spray paint kind of wrecked the look a little bit. Some parts are still speckly, but other parts are just solid silver, which is not ideal. It's still kind of cool, but let's try the other ones. In this one, I'm gonna put some of this gold acrylic paint, and I'm just gonna squirt some of this in here, cover the top, and shake it around. Ooh, that's looking quite cool, actually. Okay, let's do a little bit more. I'm very grateful to have a covered deck because it's just pouring rain out here. Ooh, that looks so cool. I don't want to put too much paint in here because it just makes it so hard to dry, but I want to make sure I get gold in all the empty spots. We're gonna do a little bit more. I don't know if it's because of the spray paint in there, but I feel like the acrylic paint is not moving around very well in here right now. Like it went to certain parts of the ornament and then the rest, it's just like, no thanks. This is the problem with plastic ornaments, is they get dented and it's hard to fix them. But if we look at this side, you can see the gold coming through. Ooh, very cool. And then here is where I put too much of the silver spray paint, so none of the gold can come through. Let's do this one now. I didn't put very much spray paint on this one, so I think the color should come through pretty well. I kind of want to do the gold again, but I feel like I should try a different color. Let's go green. Ooh, that looks so cool. It is kind of giving planet Earth a little bit, but it works so much better when there's not as much spray paint in the ornament. I think this would look better with gold instead of green, but I'm glad I tried the green. Oh yeah, that worked really well, so fast. Look how cool that is. That is so fun. Now this one that's just the silver is so boring to me. I really like having the multiple dimensions of the different colors poking through. So you know what, let's just try doing the red in this one, because not much is gonna come through anyway, and maybe it'll help it out a bit. I feel like this is the point where I'm thinking, did I make it worse? See, this is why I try things, so you don't have to. That didn't really do anything. It's so subtle. It's just like, oh my gosh. The dents on these are so bad. I tried to get them out from the inside, but that was the best we could do. One thing that I was not expecting was the gold paint inside of this one, which I put in many days ago now, is still wet. I don't know if that's because of the vinegar in there. That means the acrylic paint can't dry or what, but that was kind of interesting. I didn't put as much red paint in, so it's not as wet, but I did try sticking my finger in there and the red paint was wet as well. So I don't think I would recommend doing that. If you've ever tried the mirror spray paint, definitely let me know if it's worth it. Let's put the tops back on here. For these Mercury glass ones, I'm gonna put some ribbon on there. I got a bunch of really cute thin ribbon at Michael's the other day. It was buy one, get 3 free. I got this blue velvety one, a red velvety ribbon, a green velvety ribbon, and then this Christmassy plaid one. For this silver and gold one, I think maybe we'll do a classic red. I'm gonna make a super simple bow. And since I want the velvet to be on the outside, I'm gonna start with it on the inside. I'm just doing a regular bow like you would tie your shoelaces. And then the middle part here is the right way with the velvet out. And then I just have to twist around the loops to make sure the velvet is facing out. I changed my mind. I'm gonna use this red velvet bow on this ornament that is mostly silver but has the tiny little flecks of red poking through. I'll add my hot glue to the front, then stick my bow. I'm gonna add a little bit more glue here so I can shape the bow and keep it in place. Yeah, I think that looks really cute. Then for this ornament that has the silver and the gold, I made a little bow with the plaid ribbon. It's tricky with this ribbon that is only one-sided because you really have to fold and twist and make sure that the side with the pattern is the one that's facing out. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Add some glue, stick our bow, and then trim the ends. Here are our attempts at the Mercury glass look. I definitely don't think they're perfect, but it was a really fun technique to try. I do think this velvet bow looks a lot better. This bow is just so flimsy and the inside has nothing. I don't love that, but maybe if you twist it around a certain way, it would look better, or if we made the loops a bit smaller. But I would say definitely go for the velvet ribbon because even though the inside's not velvety, at least it's still red, whereas that one's just the white. Overall, that was really fun to make. This was my other Mercury glass effect ornament where I didn't put as much of the silver and I mixed in more of the green. I noticed that the paint dried a lot better in this one than the other ones. So maybe it has more to do with how much spray paint you put in there versus how much vinegar. I'm not totally sure. It definitely still is tacky, but not as wet as the other ones. I don't have time to put a bow on this one, but I definitely think it's super cute. Another ornament I saw on the Pottery Barn website that I thought was so beautiful were these felt Christmas balls. And in my research, I found that people were using velvet flocking powder, I think it's called, to get that effect on the Christmas ornament. I could not find that anywhere near me. So I'm gonna try making a similar effect using paint. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but I hope we can recreate somewhat of the same look. Since I don't have the velvet flocking powder, I found different methods to try and get a similar effect. All the methods start with painting the outside of a Christmas ornament with matte acrylic paint. I'm doing this one in the Hunter Green shade. I'm gonna put my ornament on this dowel and let it dry. I did 2 coats of green paint on this ornament. Now I'm gonna do a 3rd coat. Now with the paint still wet, I'm taking some baking soda and sprinkling it all over the ornament. And I'm doing a pretty heavy coating because I want the whole thing to be covered. And then we'll just brush off the excess after. There's the ornament all covered in baking soda. Now I will let that dry. I put 2 coats of red paint on this ornament. And before I put a 3rd coat on, I'm going to make a mixture with flour and cornstarch. It's going to be 2 parts flour to 1 part cornstarch. So I'm starting with a 1/4 cup of flour, and then I'll do 1/8 of a cup of cornstarch. Then mix that together. Now I can add my 3rd coat of red to my ornament. And while the paint is still wet, I'm sprinkling this flour and cornstarch mixture onto the ornament. It also works to kind of just roll it around in here. Now that that's all covered, I'm going to put it to the side to dry. It's a couple days later now, so let's brush off all of this excess powder Maybe I'll use a paintbrush. Let's see if this works. That is actually very cool. It is looking quite velvety. I'm surprised. Ooh, I like that a lot. Let's see if you can see that. It's really hard to tell on camera, but it really does look like velvet. It feels rough, so not like velvety smooth, but it really does look like velvet. That is so cool. I'm gonna try the red one now. And we'll see if there's any difference in how this one ends up looking. I don't think I had to use as much of the powder mixtures as I did because there seems to be a lot of extra. So I'd be curious to try again with less of the powder and see if it has a different effect or if it looks the same. So far, I think these two methods are looking very similar. I think I'm liking the green one a little bit more. I don't know if that's because of the color or because of the technique. This red one got a little bit bumpy on the bottom here. I'm not quite sure why. These are the finished velvet effect ornaments. I actually really love how they turned out. I think I slightly like the green one more, but the more I look at it, the more I see how similar they are. I think both methods of doing the velvety look really do work, and I'm actually surprised how well they turned out. One Christmas ornament I saw on Pottery Barn was so simple. I think it will be pretty easy to recreate. It's just a clear Christmas ornament with some dots of gold and then a beautiful satin bow on top. This little clear ornament is from Dollarama. It's one of those ones that you can open up and put things inside. I'm using this gold acrylic paint from Dollar Tree. And I have a Q-tip to make the dots of gold. I'm dipping the end of the Q-tip into the paint. I'm gonna try dotting it onto the ornament. It seems like it works better when you dip the Q-tip more into the paint and then lightly dab it on like that. So I'm not even really touching the Q-tip to the ornament. I'm more so just touching it with the paint that's on the end of the Q-tip. And then the lighter you touch, the smaller the dot will be. It looks pretty cute, actually. Let's see if I can do the other side without messing it up. You really have to be so gentle when you're dabbing it. I think that looks pretty cute. Now we need to figure out how to let this dry without messing up the dots. You know what might have been a good idea is separating the ornament into its two parts and then having it face down, and then I could do the dots on the outside. Now I might just have to hold it like this for an hour. I had lunch and I've been editing this video and I've been holding this ornament like this the whole time, which I definitely do not recommend, but I think it's all dry now. I am scared to put it down because I don't want to wreck it after all this, but I think it'll be okay. I'm putting a little bit of hot glue on the top of the ornament, then sticking my bow on there. I'm gonna add a little bit of hot glue there so I can twist the ribbon a little bit to make sure the velvet is pointing the right way. I think the green looks really cute with the gold, and I love that velvety ribbon. This Christmas ornament I found on Pottery Barn is so pretty. I love the icy blue look, and seeing as one of these goes for $50, I'm gonna see if I can make something similar for a lot less. For this ornament, I'm using some glossy decoupage glue and this light blue paint in the shade Muted Aqua. Now for this, it would be useful to have like a little plastic cup or something. I do not have that. So I'm gonna use the lid to my watercolor paint palette and pour some of the Mod Podge on here. Oh boy. How much of a bad idea do you think this is? Okay, so far so good. And then I'll open this up. I just got this paint today from Michaels, and it's their Craft Smart line, so it was super affordable. I think it was under $2. Oops. I'll add a drop. See that? Woo, then I'm gonna stir it around with my foam brush. More blue. And more Mod Podge. I need to look at this Pottery Barn one again to see how blue it was. I need a little bit more blue. Using the lid of this paint palette was not the best idea, but I didn't really have anything else to use. Okay. Now taking my foam brush, I'm gonna paint the glue and paint mixture onto the ornament. Now that it's actually going on here, I feel like I'm not seeing the blue very much. It's mostly just white. I think I'm gonna have to add more blue in here. The blue color that I made is not translating onto the ornament, I feel like. Now, maybe if I add the blue straight on. Now we are going for a more subtle kind of icy blue look, not intense blue. It's hard to get this looking like smooth and nice. Maybe I just have too much on here. I'm actually kind of surprised how little it took to cover this whole thing. I still feel like it should be more blue. It's a hard balance. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Not super even, but I am gonna be adding glitter on top of this, so maybe that won't matter. I got this glitter from Michaels. It's the extra fine glitter in silver. Here goes. Let's try to do a light covering at first. I really wish I had paper plates to do this on. I guess I could have used a normal plate too. Ooh, that's looking pretty. Oops. You gotta be light. Keep it moving, far away. Ooh, that's pretty. It's actually a good amount of blue. I got silver glitter, but maybe I should have gotten white glitter because looking at the Pottery Barn one again, it does look like it's more of the icy blue with white glitter on top. But we're not going for exact matches. I'm just using their ideas as inspiration for creating my own. So I think this looks really pretty. Here's the finished sparkly blue ornament. I really love how this turned out, mixing the Mod Podge with the blue paint. It made it very, very light, but it gives it such an icy effect. I'd be curious to mix the Mod Podge with other colors and see how they look. You could probably get some beautiful pastel colors. Overall, this one I would say is a success. This sparkly ornament from Pottery Barn is so beautiful. Let's see if we can make a similar effect for a lot less. I'm gonna paint the inside of one of these plastic Christmas ornaments with this Deco Art paint in the shade Santa Red. And then I'm also gonna do one in this Craft Smart paint in the shade Hunter Green. Now, everything always tells you you should put some rubbing alcohol in the ornaments and swish it around, then dry it out before you put the paint in. I'm gonna skip that step and hope for the best. Squirt in paint on one side, and then some paint on the other side. Then I'll get a piece of paper towel, cover up the top, and shake. I don't want to add too much paint inside because then it'll just take a lot longer to dry. So I really want to try and cover as much of the ornament as possible with the least amount of paint possible. It actually is working pretty well. We're almost there. I put maybe a tablespoon of paint total in here, I think. I think the last time I did anything like this, I put way too much paint inside, and then I had so much dripping everywhere as it was drying. So hopefully this will work a lot better. I think, oh, a little spot on the bottom still. I think I got everything. Amazing, okay. Here's the ornament all covered in the paint. Now I'm gonna put this upside down on a piece of paper towel and let all the excess come out, and I'll periodically move it over. You could also drain it into a cup, would probably be a better idea, but I'm gonna try this. Now I'm taking the green paint and squirting some on one side and then squirting some on the other side. Then taking another piece of paper towel and shaking. Let's see how we're doing. Looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna set this aside to dry. Now I'm gonna attempt to use painter's tape to separate the ornament into sections. I'm wrapping it around the ornament so I can see how long I need my piece of tape to be. Then cutting it, taking it off. Then I am cutting this piece of tape in half. Now I have my two thinner strips of tape, and I'm starting it at the top of the ornament, then wrapping it around to the other side. It is tricky to make the tape lay flat on the round ornament, but I'm just trying to do it as best as possible. Then I'll take the other one, and I could do it in the middle, but I don't want the sections to be that big. So I'm gonna do it a little bit closer this way, and then do another section there after. So again, I'm wrapping this around to the other side. Now I need one more section. I'm cutting this piece in half. Now I can put this last piece on my ornament, wrap it around. Next, I'm taking my decoupage glue and I'm painting it on all of the parts of the ornament that don't have tape. Now that I have all the glue on, I'm taking my silver glitter and sprinkling it all over the ornament. I'm getting a little bit smarter with using a plate this time instead of straight onto the table. I'm not 100% sure if I should wait to take off the tape until it's dry or take it off now. I'm gonna try taking it off now and see what happens. So far, so good. Maybe with the next one, I'll try waiting until it's totally dry so then we can see if there's a difference. One thing I did notice with that one is when I was trying to get the tape off, I touched the corner here where the glue is, so some of the sparkles came off. I think if I made the tape go up higher on the ornament, it actually would have been easier to take it off. I think I'm gonna wait to take off that last stripe just because I don't wanna wipe off the glue there with the glitter. But these other ones worked out pretty well, I think. With my green ornament, I'm gonna try and do a lighter sprinkle of the glitter and see if we can leave some of the green showing through. Okay, let's leave that for a few minutes and then take the tape off. Been a little bit, so let's try to take this tape off now. It's still a little bit damp, but that was a little bit easier. Now I'm gonna let it fully dry and then I can wipe off all the excess. Now for the green one, let's see how this looks. Once that dries and we get off all the excess, then we can really see how that's looking. Now that my two sparkly ornaments are dried, I'm gonna see if there's any excess we can brush off. It seems like it's mostly just coming off the parts that didn't have the glue. I like that you're able to see the green under the sparkles since I did the lighter layer on this one, but I also think in some places it just looks patchy and not super intentional. So I don't love that part of it. Let's see the red one. This is the one that we put the heavier layer of sparkles on. Again, I'm mostly just brushing off the glitter in between on the red parts. This one worked out pretty well. There's a couple spots that got a little bit messed up. You can see there's a hole there where maybe I touched it, or when I was taking off the tape, it took off some of the glue and sparkles. Definitely not perfect, but it's still kind of a fun effect and worth playing around with. Let's put the tops back on these. Here's another look at these two ornaments. Overall, I really liked pouring the paint inside. I think it gave it such a nice, even look. I think doing the sparkles on the outside with the tape was minorly successful, but I'm not totally in love with the look. If you have any ideas on how to improve or different techniques to do, definitely let me know. Maybe if I did more of a clear glitter instead of the silver, then it wouldn't be so stark. The silver and the green definitely looks better, I think, than the red, but it was fun to make. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had so much fun making all of these Pottery Barn-inspired Christmas ornaments with you. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to my channel for lots more fun DIY content coming up this season. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.